What's good, YouTube, and welcome to the house. Let's address all the drama and controversies around the Power of the Elements pre-sales, because that always goes well on YouTube. First off, I want to explain that Tier 0 was on lockdown for hours in terms of not being able to even move on their backend through the site because traffic was greater than Black Friday. They actually upped their server space and allotment and paid extra so that people could move through, and it still was just slammed way past their expectations. They've stated that they plan to take precautions in the future to not let this happen again, but yeah, that's how anticipated Power of the Elements seems to be. I told you guys, I don't think Sprite will do the same in the TCG as OCG. I think it'll be Tier 1, 1.5, and I really do think that Tier Elements is the better long-term hold/buy, especially with the Ishizu stuff in November. Not a financial advisor channel. I don't know the future of card prices. Product delays can happen, but I really do like Tier Elements a lot in how they're setting up and what they're doing. But DUEA had a clearing leveling ban list before it was actually into the game, and we don't know that we're getting that for Power of the Elements, but it would be a great opportunity for Konami to kind of take steps towards that movement in the game. I don't know that they will, though. Ban lists are always speculation. And yeah, Tier 0 sold out of a ton of their stuff, just a crazy amount. And then other controversy, Gamer's Choice upped their prices. You know what? They sold 2/3 of their massive stock in under 2 hours. And when I say massive, it is a lot of cards. We're talking over 100 deck cores within those 2 hours were gone. And they're like, well, we have 50 left. We want to keep some in stock for people that are still coming to the site. And they still sold out of those after bumping the price. So you got guys like this saying, haha, good one. You called TCG players sellers greedy, John. Oh, look at this snapshot. Yeah, we're also not going to talk about how they lowered the price of Ultimate Slayer to go with that estimated value pulled chop up, or actually have a USA here, you know, still cheap at 150, right, compared to other places that are selling. They sold out of their DPE similar to the TCG player price now, and they only up Sprite Blue to 50, which code What's Good 5% off, and to support the channel directly, makes it even cheaper than any that have sold on TCG player. But I do want to shout out somebody that I found through this thread and giving my takes back on the whole situation. First off, a store wants to keep some stock if possible. It really didn't help. It didn't even keep it through the night. But whenever you see anybody dip on TCG player, what happens first? The pre-sellers went live. They put their prices out there and people adjusted. And we do see Project CCG. They put out 67 copies of Sprite Blue and some other people followed. But the vultures, they're still way above soaring, and guess what? Today, they're getting rewarded. Yes, I would call that greed. I definitely would. Look at this. This is TCG player right now, live, and the lowest is up. Somebody else coming in a little bit cheaper here, competition ramping up, and then the rest are at 70 before it's 75. So more competition coming through today, but still about $20 higher than after you use my code. Weird, huh? So I would not say that Gamer's Choice moved with greed. They did a natural thing a store does, which is if something is selling insanely fast, they up it a bit in order to try to hold on to some stock for their regular customers and give them a chance. I know that Tier 0, you know, just let things kind of sell out and sell out very fast. They didn't readjust too many prices, although some did go up, I believe. They still have some stock of the lower end stuff, but most of the lower end stuff I would wait for. As people rip the heck out of the set, I would be looking towards what I think is going up, and a lot of people are banking on the top two decks being Sprite as well as Tier Elements. Yeah, just crazy. This is like when I started Market Watch, by the way, loading all my tabs, and then you see the competition continue to ramp up, slight undercuts, all that stuff, people trying to make their sales. But again, it's that barely motivated, trying to get rid of my maybe it'll go down. I said I think Sprite Blue will start somewhere between 40, 45-ish to 60. The question is, where within that realm, right? So again, Power of the Elements, just absurd hype, crazy sellouts. Yu-Gi-Oh! Daily has told me they plan to go live most likely tomorrow afternoon, but they're not 100%. I'm looking forward to that, and that's the last big name pre-seller that I know of coming into the game, really trying to do it like big with that heart on their shoulders. But yeah, just the amount of hype for the set is unparalleled to anything I've seen since people saying Oshadol's is going to take over everything. Then people going, wait, these other decks, they're pretty good. The Teller Knights, oh, they actually won the first ARG. They had the mirror match ARG coming up also. Cali Effect, he has on his Twitter, he was asking what happened to ARG. They're now Sweets and Geeks. If you look up that store, very awesome mix of tons of TCGs, candies, and I really like what Jim's done with the place. But yeah, that's kind of off of a tangent. So, Sprite is here. It's cheaper than I thought it would be. The deck cores were way cheaper than I thought people would be charging for, and that leads people to buying up the other pieces. The common of Swap Frog going even further beyond and faster. The Ultra now down to about 56 listings, which is starting to be alarming. And you see the commons lowest prices are $8 to $9, quickly 10, and they're actually going as people go, okay, it's here now. It was more affordable than I thought, and now they're paying extra for these other pieces that are already juiced up in price. Anti-Sprite text, Stygian Dirge, which only comes in Stardust Overdrive, and Duelist League promo for, adjusting levels as a floodgate so they can't do their things. They decrease the level by 1. It is going crazy and getting bought out, and we've already covered these two before, but now Starstrike Blast, striking again. It's been a while. The only printings of Mischief of the Yokai, completely out of stock for the Ultra. And somebody in my comment section was like, I bought the last ultis. Well, it looks like somebody else popped back 2 up here. But after those $20 ones, they're gone. So if you want them for the collection, actually 20 is not awful. It's straight up market price. Good for that not greedy listing. King of the Swamp is used in tier elements. I've been hoarding Hobby League 1 forever. I just like the super rare, thought it was really unique. It got another super rare modern Infusion Enforcers, and that's now $20+. The dual terminal high in demand too, as all the commons are $7+, as people now also say, oh, tier elements was cheaper than I thought it would be. I'm grabbing that. Again, estimated value pulled is a thing even on a super hype set. You have Sprite, you have tier elements, you have Artemis Slay, whatever it's called now, it has a new name, and so many different cards in here that the value is still going to chop up, but the Starlights aren't doing too hot early, even with that being one of them, so I do feel like the EVP estimated value pulled is going to make the contents of the set more expensive, but this is highly ordered, highly anticipated, a lot of people going to be ripping it open. Power of the Elements will be very interesting, but you can see how much money is moving through the market depending on these decks. Like, we also have the Dangers. You might say, that's just Dark World, John. No, Mothman and Nessie are also used in some tier element variants. This is an Aqua, and I believe that triggers the effects also, so you have both of these kind of poised and people looking at a Danger engine for certain tier element decks, and Time Thief Redoer, which is played in the deck, which also is able to activate their effects. It is going insane for the Secret Rare. Once again, you can see it was bought out before. I completely missed that one, and I didn't know it till today, thanks to the Discord. Shout out to you guys. And now is up towards $8 to $9 for that Secret Rare. It's a penny stock I told you to get forever ago, although it has multiple different holos between an OTS Super, an Ultra from Ghost from the Past, and then a original common. One of the nicest cards Konami's given us common in a long time, right? So all the good rarities are there, but one of them very, very expensive. Magician's Souls! Let's talk about the controversy of it being short printed and EU versus USA prices. Well, I have now been told it is also horrendously short in the EU polls. And one thing that the US is really good at figuring out first is weakness within a market. Let's be honest, it's very exploitative, and you have a lot of the times the EU lagging behind about a week, and what's happening on it's slowly starting to go up, and the English copies are slowly disappearing from these lower listings. Very few on this front page over on Card Market, and remember, it's still a little bit higher for the euro, but not much than the US dollar right now. So comparing prices, yes, it's still cheaper and more accessible over in the EU on Card Market, but you do see people starting to grab theirs a little bit more. The color variants are still much cheaper, but you do see the OG Ultra starting to get targeted and lagging behind. So that whole EU market, always cheaper, always better, sometimes it just lags, and people don't necessarily have that data, and they question like, oh, is it only short in the US packs? It's short in both. That's why you're seeing it start to spike in the EU, and it's already spiked heavily on the TCG market, especially for the Ultra version, which you know, it originally came Ultra. It has a secret rare variant too. But yeah, people are hard targeting the specifically 3-1. And it's not just that out of this set, though. People realize a lot of people don't want to open up the set considering the top card is short, and they're now targeting the secret rares as well. Like I said, the market much more exploited by those people that are trying to look and speculate and go in. And Liquid Soldier among those, starting to spike right now. Soul Servant and the Dark Magicians all going up in market price and also down in quantity. So you might want to get yours sooner than later using that TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra to support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying. I don't want to necessarily put fuel on the fire that's already happening there, but do realize product's pretty bad EVP to open, considering the top card that can actually make you money opening one of these $15 MSRP triple pack things. It's just not that good. It's not that good to open. It's better to keep sealed, honestly, super long term. But when you're talking about shorts, and Bane and Gold, no reason. They were already very cheap. They're also short in here. Konami just couldn't help themselves. And the huge shocker here, people in my comment section were saying, well, they should have expected it to be short print. None of these sets, none of these seasons, the Hidden Arsenal set, Dragons of Legends set, the Legendary Duel sets, none of them had short prints yet. You would have thought they would have led with it on Millennium Eyes Restrict or something, but no, it was just ratios and targeting and that stuff. Here we have very clear short prints happening within this set, intentional or not. Magician Souls, Bane and Gold are it, and I would call that a very good sign that it is probably intentional. Also, yeah, I had Danger Nessie pulled up just as the example. Look, there's the gold rare. People actually are allergic to gold rares. There's still a cheap Nessie on the market. It's hard targeting on the Ultra as well as the Secret, and Mothman Secret is much more targeted than its super rare, so there's still cheaper options on those Dangers should you be wanting them and looking out for them, but they are also starting to pick up in sales rates, so I might do that sooner than later. And now we get to merch it watch, because I do like my merch. We have gym accessories with a full schedule. I really love this playmat. If you haven't seen this GOAT deck box, you have an amazing art by Pellin that has on the inside this delinquent duo carrying a pot of greed. You have the Spellgrounds collab, it looks like, and I didn't even know this one was coming. And so many different like classic looks for their deck boxes. The OG to do it in the game. Nobody's replicated these backpacks, and they just look so freaking good. Love Jim doing their things. And then I also did pre-order this Blue Eyes White Dragon unlicensed figure by Fantasy Studio. Very much a thanks to, I don't want to murder your name, but Renan Icon over on Facebook and the Statue Collectors. He did want credit specifically for the pictures. He took these amazing pictures of this, and I took a chance on a studio I had never ordered from. I can't wait to see this thing with electroplating in person. And the other version of this statue, there's only 30 of these electroplated ones, kind of looks like the OG Good Smile Crazy Blue Eyes that is way up there in price. So I ordered 2 of the, I think it's limited to 100 or so of that one, and then one of these 30 limited ones, and I am so happy I did. That was back in the day where streams were popping off real hard before Master Duel killed me because I'm a boomer. But seriously, I got like the extra one to do as like a future stream prize or something, and then get the 2 variants for myself. But boy, am I glad I did. Oh yeah, and then I was just talking about the Sweets and Geek thing on Twitter, and I had it open. Exactly the conversation I went on a tangent on of how ARG and what they're doing. And hi, Brad! Alright, thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Again, controversy abound. They said they'll do better next time, and I really hope they do, but understandable that you could not foresee record site traffic with a set release as a vendor, and Gamer's Choice also freaking floored, out of stock. I've never seen them out, like, just in, you know, that amount of time. It was hours. It was actually, like, 4, I think, total hours before deck cores were just completely gone. So, big shout-outs to both of them for handling all the criticism, people coming at them for what they're doing, and honestly, just doing what a store should, in my opinion. I know they're sponsors, but guys, at the end of the day, I get paid by you. I do not get paid to advertise for them. I only get paid when my code is used, and I want to keep it that way because I would rather the end user be who I have the interest of. This is my point as somebody who has been a vendor for a living. My liver, we'll talk about that from streams, but it's doing fine right now, don't worry. But seriously, as somebody who has done vending for a living, I've talked to many store owners. I've seen a lot of their backends and what they go through, and people will sometimes say, oh, they should just keep the stock, sell it out that way, wanting the best deal for themselves, even though they wouldn't have got that deal in the first place, most likely. The reason, again, is not for good advertising on screen or, oh, it's because of this or that. It's because they have other reasons, such as trying to keep something in stock for people that are coming through and not wasting their time giving that negative feeling of, oh, there's nothing there, you know. And other things have actually come down, like Martha. I think it was at $2.99. I think that's also down in price a little. But again, huge shout outs for both of them handling what was the madness of yesterday, and shout outs to Daily. You get to do it tomorrow or soon. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation. Feel free to chime in if you do feel a different type of way, or you have something to say on the matter of how the Power of the Element pre-sales went, how you think the prices are, how you think they'll fall out. Is Sprite overhyped? I kind of think so. Is Tier Element underhyped? I think initial prices really proved that, and just tons of different hot takes coming out through that day. Thanks for watching, everybody.